Good
gotta go on
morning,
a diet.
everyone, and good afternoon and good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to Being Your Own CEO. This is a weekly success circle for solopreneurs. We get together because we enjoy each other's company, and we like exchanging ideas and information for business. And for me, it's all about giving and receiving support. My name is Loa Ann, and I've been in business since 1996, helping people where they want to go. So I would like us to just be reminded of our operating principles, relationships before business. You can get everything in life and business if you help enough other people get what they want. That's a Ziegler quote. We stand for positive possibilities and keep an open mind, and we never sell anything we are not prepared to deliver impeccably. So we're going to do. We're going to begin with, as usual, with some introductions, and just as a reminder, please say your name and where you are and what you do, the name of your business. And share with us a good news story, a learning, a win, something that you think that we might all find interesting. So, let's see. Vivek, I usually try to get everybody to introduce themselves in the order in which they came, but that means you always come first. So I'm going to start at the other end of the spectrum here. So Heidi, you're here. Would you like to unmute yourself and introduce? Welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. This is really dive in. Yeah, Heidi, I'm living in Italy. It's very warm here. My computer needs cooling because otherwise it gets crazy. And I'm at the moment I'm in the affiliate courses and websites. I'm creating a website about cats and challenges with cats, like our blind cat. And I'm really excited because this is not my profession, but I'm free of for learning, and free of the pressure of needing to be good and something. So when I have learned everything, then I will probably come out with what I'm doing. I'm normally a coach and a therapist for for the authentic voice, for the real voice, but also for trying to get out your voice into the world. And for me, this piece of marketing, online marketing, this was really missing. So I thank you very much, Laura, and also Jan, Jay, to introduce me to that, and also Craig. Thank you.
Yeah, it's quite a community.
Full-time job.
Alana, I think you are a member of that community as well, are you not? You want to unmute yourself, Alana.
Yes, I am. I'm a member of Wealthy Affiliate, and I have been for several years now. I've learned a ton of stuff from them, and I've really enjoyed being in that environment because it's a very supportive environment. Mm-hmm. As a result of that, I have moved from working part-time for someone else to working for myself, and I have my own business, Online Income and Resources, where I have learned so much from Wealthy Affiliate that I'm trying to help others avoid scams and find their way either to Wealthy Affiliate or at least something more legitimate to help them make money online. So,
right, that's a good thing to be doing, and I might say, and I'm sure that all three of us who are part of Wealthy Affiliate, we would all agree that there are a lot of people who really think that they're going to go on there and get rich quick.
Yeah.
Without doing any work.
Yeah.
And we all know that that's a pie in the sky.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight, and I think it does, well, like anything, it takes a while to build up your reputation, whether it's a personal reputation or an online one, and I think online ones are harder to build up because there's no interface, or it's a harder interface to break through, so.
Yeah, it's taken me a couple of years, and I've noticed just in the last maybe 2 or 3 months that things are beginning to really take off now.
Wow, that's great. That's really good for you.
Yeah, but it takes I finally figured it out. It takes consistency is what it takes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know that I'm quite there yet on the consistency yet, because I'm still feel like I'm finding my feet in some ways, and other ways I feel like I'm an old hand at this. So I'm still kind of caught in the middle at the minute. So.
Well, I think we all struggle with that consistency thing.
Yeah.
Really, if truth were to be known. Especially with, as I think it was Barbara who said last week, there's so many bright and shiny new things, and it's so easy to get distracted. So
It really is, and once you put your mail address anywhere, you're subject to getting all kinds of junk, and yeah, everything looks better when someone else is pitching it, right?
right, no kidding. Well, I'm happy that you decided to return, and we missed you on Friday night. I saw you were trying to get in, but then I saw that you disappeared, and I thought, well, that's because it's so late.
Right, and see, the funny thing is, I actually took a nap that night because it's 1 o'clock in the morning when Jay does his webinars. So I managed to stay up I took a nap. I got up at 1 o'clock, did the webinar, tried to log on with Craig, couldn't get on for about 15, 20 minutes, and by then it's going on to 3 o'clock, and I said, well, I guess I'll try next time. So I'm getting there. I'm almost there.
Sorry, I'll make it a point to PM you the next time, and you'll have a.
That's okay, Craig. It would be fun just to have some, another thing after Jay's thing, because I think that would be fun.
It is fun, yeah. So, but I'm very happy you made it here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So Anna, you're next in the line. Do you want to unmute yourself and tell us all about yourself? We're not hearing. Anna, we're not hearing you. Okay, we'll go on to the next person. So Craig, you're next in the film strip.
Okay, well, my name is Craig, and I'm also a member of Wealthy Affiliate. I go by the name Labman over there. I have several labs that I train, 2 of which are therapy dogs, and the third is being trained for search and rescue. So we have interesting days most days, and so I've been at Wealthy Affiliate. Well, let's see. In next week, it will have been 6 years.
Wow.
And boy, have I learned a lot. But today we're talking about manipulating images, so I can share some of the stuff that I've learned there.
Perfect. Okay, welcome here. Nathan, you're next in the film strip.
Okay. Yeah, my name is Nathan. I'm from Ensenada, Baja California, Mexico. Courtesy of a couple of things that happened over the last couple of days, my main focus right now is on what I call the done-for-you writing and publishing business, basically taking authors from zero to published author very quickly using the process of interviewing. And as for the wins, well, I finally finished and pretty much put to rest everything that I was doing to do with bullying. I wrote a book called Life After Bullying, put it up as a Kindle, wound up with a 5-star review from one of my friends a couple of days ago, much to my amazement. Nice. And thought, well, I'll take it one step further and turned it into a CreateSpace book, which I just finished yesterday. And assuming that they accept it, then that's it for bullying for my life, and that's part of the past. And I'm just focusing on the publishing going forward, and eventually probably creating a channel to do with a podcast rather, to do with inspiration, which is what I really want to focus on going forward. And that's it.
Right on. Moving forward, Nathan, really glad to hear you put that other stuff behind.
You and me both. It's been a real drain. And yeah, I mean, I just got to a point where I realized that it didn't matter what anybody else wanted from me that way. I thought, no, I've had enough. Absolutely had enough. Yeah. And it's time to leave it alone and put it to rest. Jay and Neil actually last week was the impetus for me finishing the book, because I was just going to stick it on the shelf, and Jay chimed in, and a whole bunch of other people in the group did as well. And okay, so I finished it, and now it's done. Now it's done.
Yeah. Well, and you can, I mean, the fact that you finished the book, it's like a closure, isn't it? You can really honestly say now it's over. Yeah. Whereas if you just put it on the shelf, it would have been still sitting there nagging at you.
True.
So, oh, that's good.
Thank you.
Paul, good morning. Do you want to unmute yourself and introduce?
Well, I sure do, Lolan. Good morning to you all. My name is Paul. My company's TTG International Management, and we turn ideas into profitable action. That's what we like to do. And I'm very happy to be sitting here in sunny Victoria. We had a fabulous weekend here. For anybody who likes cars, there was about 1,000 vintage cars parked in the Inner Harbor. 558 of them were Deuce Coupes. So everywhere you turned was somebody's image of what they wanted a car to look like. It was like walking amongst works of art. It was just a fabulous day and a good time. So
right on.
I'm pumped for this week.
Great. That's good. Nice to see you again.
Good to be seen.
And I didn't go down to the actual show, but I was down there as they were setting up, so I did see quite a few of them. They were pretty neat. So next in line is Susan, and you want to unmute? And oh, did I catch you with your mouth full? Uh-oh.
It's okay. I'm eating my breakfast at 11:20.
Yeah.
It's been one of those mornings. Hi, I'm Susan Joy Schlief, and my business is presentations with results. And I also have a hangout show called Creative Marketing TV. And I think my big thing since last week is I recorded another episode for that hangout, and I hadn't done one for several weeks. I usually try to do 2 a month, one as an interview and one as a training episode. So I did a training this past week on how to create flat graphics using shapes in PowerPoint.
Oh.
It was fun, and I've gotten some good feedback from people in the Camtasia Studio users group that I'm in on Facebook, and they liked it, so it was fun. And I just have to finish writing the blog post to link to it.
All those steps.
All those steps, and then share it all over the place. The other thing that's going on for me is that it's finally a little bit cooler here yesterday and today, but still hasn't really cooled off in my apartment, so you'll have to apologize. My professional attire here, it's still pretty warm, but at least it's not melting hot like it was for 4 or 5 days, so I am glad we're out of that.
Yeah, I don't know which is worse, having it too hot or too cold.
Yeah.
The extremes, I guess. That's the way we need to say it. The extremes are very uncomfortable. What we need is something in the middle.
And we have a lot of extremes in Chicago. I know on the West Coast there, you people get more moderate temperature, I think, but
we are very, very moderate. Yeah.
We go back and forth across the fronts go back and forth across us. So we're either on the hot side of it or on the cold side of it. There's not a lot of in between for us.
Right. Well, and while I've got you, I did get your ebook about that you talked about last week, and I must say I was impressed.
Well, thank you.
There was a lot of very valuable information in there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And at some point I'm going to have to update that sales page at the end of it because that was from a class I did last fall. I just need to get it up in an online version so that I can sell people into the pre-recorded, and I haven't done that part yet. But
more steps.
More steps.
Right. So I'm so happy that you decided to join us again this morning, Susan.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Because we know that you have a certain expertise in the image world.
Sourcing images, yes, I do.
Right. So welcome.
Thanks. Good to be here.
So Vivek, last but not least.
Namaste. My name is Vivek, and VivekTechnology.com is my website. I believe in living a simple life. I believe in thinking different. I am proud to share my belief with Steve Jobs and Leonardo da Vinci, who said simplicity is the ultimate in sophistication. So if you are struggling to integrate, simplify different software projects and your life, you can reach me using Google Plus or LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, lots of places. So
yeah. We're all in all of those places these days, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh well, I'm so glad that you came by, and I hope your machine doesn't overheat this morning.
It shouldn't, because here the weather is moderate. It's not too hot, not too cold, so it's quite pleasant now. So
here equals the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Anna, do you want to try again?
Okay, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, at last. Except now I have a green screen on my monitor, but never mind. At least I'm on. I'm Anna Fernandez, and my regular website is medevacana.com, and I cater to the healthcare options for snowbird travelers on that side. And I just will be launching tomorrow. I'm hoping this is tomorrow, finally the day, that I'll be launching the solosnowbird.com, which will be a blog and for solo singles traveling south each winter to warmer climates, and be a blog. It'll be travel hints. There'll be a travel store on there. There'll be all sorts of things. So I'm hoping that that will go well tomorrow. Trying to coordinate everything at once is really difficult, and I'm sure you've all done it, where you're trying to get your Facebook thing done and your website done, and you wanted to launch it all at the same time. So lots of balls in the air juggling, but I think I've got it all together finally. So,
now, Anna, I do hope that you will post something in the Being Your Own CEO community, so we all get to see what you're doing.
Sure, of course I will. Another one of the long list of things where I have to post. But I will, yes. Thanks for all your help during all this time, too.
Well, and it's nice to have you in Victoria, back in Victoria. And I just might mention, don't forget Tuesday night.
Yes, I will.
That's a little in-joke for those of us in Victoria. So, Anna, I might just add a little recommendation. Here is something that I have done, is I've discovered that when I'm doing some of these processes, it is so easy to get distracted and forget a piece, or forget a step or whatever. So what I've done is I've created checklists for myself so that I can just go back to that checklist, tick them off to ensure that everything is done. So I highly recommend it.
Yes, I'm a list girl, so got that kind of started on my whiteboard here.
Right on.
Thanks.
So just by way of finishing off introductions, I might just say you can see online here that my website is loaland.com. My business is called Workstyle Lifestyle Consulting. I've got a couple of good news things. I've been playing around with a new application called Thinkific, and I have finished the writing of my networking course and have uploaded that, and now I just have to do the recording part that goes with it. So I'm feeling pretty good that I finally got that finished. The other good news thing happened. Something popped up while I was meditating this morning on my phone, and I finally got Facebook Live. It finally popped in this morning. After all this time trying to figure out where is it, how do you get it, where, so I probably this week will play a little bit with that just to see how it works, etc., etc. So I know Susan, you have tried that in the past, or you've done a few things with Facebook Live. So
I tried it once and I got it sideways, and then I haven't even gone back in since then because I've been too busy.
Well, and I was remembering that I have to remember that the screen has to be up in portrait mode. Yeah. I hope my selfie stick allows me to do that. We'll see. Okay, so enough of chit chat. Let's get to work. This morning we were going to talk more about sourcing and modifying images. We did begin that discussion to some degree last week, and realized that we didn't really cover nearly as much. So let's just begin by looking at sourcing, all the different places that we can find images, useful images for whatever we're doing. And by the way, while we're discussing that, Susan and I did make a little mention of her ebook, but I really do encourage you all to find her ebook about how to understand whether you can use various kinds of images. And so hopefully you might put that up in the comments, a link to that again, Susan, because I think it's important for us to understand that you can go to Google Images and see all kinds of stuff there, but we don't necessarily have permission to use those things.
Yeah, I'll grab the link and post it again.
Yeah. Thank you. So who's got some sources they would like to share?
Well, I can certainly jump in with the ones that I use.
Right on.
My go-to place is usually Pixabay, Pixabay, and the other is called Unsplash. Unsplash.
Right.
And what they do is they go out and they source all of the images that they can find that have no Creative Commons, so they're free to use for anyone without attribution. And the reason that I choose those, you know, sometimes you have to find an image that, you know, the photographer says, hey, I want credit. And if that happens, then usually you'll just put a footnote in the caption of the image on your site. Or you can, at the bottom, say images, you know, supplied by such and such and so and so. And that keeps you fine with the copyright laws. But copyright laws are something that you absolutely have to be very careful with. There are some places out there that make their living off of spiking people for using their images. And for some reason it's escaping me, but there's a big one, and they make a good portion of their revenue just from saying, hey, you little guy, you used our image, so now we're going to charge you $1,000 for using our image. And you can take the image down, but you still were a bad person.
Craig, are you thinking of Getty Images?
I am thinking of Getty Images.
Yeah,
Thank you.
they are one of the big ones, that's for sure.
Yes, they make a significant portion of their income from spanking people for using their images. So anyway, Unsplash and Pixabay do not require attribution, and they are free to use, and they are a nice resource for most people.
So what about I'm thinking of you know, places like Canva and all of those places that well, I'm thinking of Canva to begin with, because I mean some of their images only cost $1.
Right, and at that point you're purchasing the image rights from them, so you're not subject, because you purchased the image, you're not subject to the Creative Commons issues. And but the beauty of Canva is you don't necessarily have to use their images. You could go to Unsplash or Pixabay and upload one of their images and use it in the Canva.
Canva is more of a place to create your logo or whatever it is you're creating, your header and all that sort of thing. More than being a source, though, for pictures. I think Lola is asking for sources, right? Pictures.
Well, yeah, but Canva will allow you to use their images. There are a certain number of free images that they have, and then they have images that have a small fee attached.
One I discovered recently is Wikimedia. Never even knew about it.
Oh, I love Wikimedia.
Anybody been there? Wikimedia?
Yeah, I use it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because it has different types of media on there.
I've actually heard of it, but I don't think I've ever used it. I'm going to have to check it now.
Right. I haven't checked that one either.
Yeah.
Another very small one, unknown one, is Photoree. 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 I found that through, I don't know how I found it. You know how you do, wandering around the internet.
Yes.
So that's another one. Another good one, actually.
What about Flickr?
Flickr's good, yeah.
Anybody else? I mean, a lot of people who, well, amateurs, let's say, not professionals, but lots of amateurs load things into Flickr.
In some cases, that is okay. In other cases, there's a copyright attached that people ignore when they put their images up on Pixabay. So you might get into copyright issues if you use images from Pixabay. But you know, most of the time you can get away with it.
I think if you do a basic search though on Google and then do your options, advanced options, where you search by common license, what's it called? Common source license, something like that. Creative, that's right. Creative Commons, yes, right. Then that's a very simple way of finding ones that you won't get in trouble with.
Yeah, and actually another way you can do that is if you go to the creativecommons.org website, they have a search page there that will be restricted to only finding images with a Creative Commons license.
CreativeCommons.org, right.
Right. And they're actually, that Creative Commons licensing now has been picked up for searching in a lot of different places. I think actually Wikimedia has a way to filter by Creative Commons, so if you're searching on their site, you can get it to bring up only certain kinds of licenses. And that's one of the things that's covered in my ebook that Lowell Ann mentioned, is there are multiple types of Creative Commons license. So depending on whether you want to give attribution or not, you need to restrict it based on which license. And some of them actually have requirements for whether or not you can modify the image, whether it can be used commercially or not. There's one version where whatever license is on the image, when you get it, you have to license your work that includes that image with the same license. I think it's called a share alike or something like that. So, for instance, if you were going to create a Kindle book that you were going to sell, you couldn't use an image with that type of license because it requires you to offer the result freely to anybody else with that same image, and you couldn't do that if you were going to sell it. So you do have to check those licenses carefully. And that was actually something I wanted to get back to with when you're talking about Canva. Canva does offer a lot of images, but you have to read their license. Their free images, for instance, cannot be used commercially.
So that's just been popping into my mind, this whole business about using commercially. So if I'm a business and I'm using blogs as a sort of a marketing tool, would that be using an image in a blog, would that be considered business or commercial?
And that depends on who you ask. I have not found a clear universal definition of that. So to me, it's kind of a gray area that I try to steer clear of, because if I'm just posting a picture on Facebook, I tend to think it's probably okay. Whether I'm posting it through my personal profile or through my business page can make a difference, though.
Oh, yeah.
So,
okay.
you know, even if you're not charging for it, some people will consider that commercial because it's being shared by a business as opposed to a person. It's a pretty gray area. And because you're talking about something where there's no money involved, you know, you're not paying for the image, you're not getting any money for sharing it, it's pretty hard to get legal advice about that, because it's not worth paying an attorney to look at it if there's no money involved. And the public domain images that you might be using, you know, there's no legal ruling on those in kind of a general way there is, but in terms of, you know, there's no copyright holder to be asking for legal advice about, you know, it's just kind of a gray area. I do use public domain images a lot, but I try to be real careful about how I use them and making sure that I download them from sites that are reputable, like Pixabay and Unsplash and Wikimedia. I never download an image from somebody's website or blog post or forum or something like that, because I assume that they've uploaded that image without having any understanding of whether they have the right to use it or not.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Right on.
And even if they do understand that and they've been careful, they don't necessarily have the right to give me permission to use it. So I go to the bigger sources.
You never know where the source is.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, ultimately the source is from the illustrator or the photographer, but we don't have a way. Well, sometimes you can contact them directly. I don't usually go to that extent. I just go to the big sites, like Craig mentioned, Pixabay. That's one of my favorites as well. I do use Unsplash some. And I'm more and more I'm starting to use one that I didn't like that much at first, but it's called openclipart.org, and it's all public domain, or Creative Commons 0 is the other equivalent of that. And it's much more clip art kind of style. Some of it's pretty junky looking, and some of it is not. So I've started using that site more and more for certain things when I'm looking for an icon style. I used it when I did this presentation about creating flat graphics. I put together a bundle of, some of them were graphics I designed and some were public domain graphics, all related to ice cream, because that's what we were talking about in the webinar. And so I pulled a lot of images from that open clip art site and bundled them together to offer people for free.
Oh, right on.
You know, it's not the kind of image that you would use to fill up the background of a PowerPoint slide, but they're perfect for turning it into an icon, or they can be used in a little quote graphic or tip graphic, or in an infographic. They're great for that. So I've been experimenting more and more with that style, and openclipart.org is a really good site for that kind of image.
Right.
Pixabay has some of those too, but openclipart has a lot more.
So before we move on, I want to welcome a new person to this Hangout series. Welcome, Eddie. Nice to see you.
Hey, little Ann. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. Would you like to introduce yourself? That's one thing we usually do at the beginning. So say a little about yourself, where you are, and what you do.
Eddie Bush. I'm a software developer. Started my own company in 2012, and I kind of, well, most of the time I'm contracting somebody else, but I'm trying to slide over and generate more revenue directly myself. My contract ended. My current contract ended Friday. We've kind of got a little bit of spill that we're working on. They wanted me to be kind of ad hoc available for a period of time. So, but yeah, that's what's going on. I'm trying to spin up some stuff on my corporate site. I'm gonna shift into trying to do online training, I think. So we'll see how that goes.
And for everybody else's benefit, Eddie is also a member of WA.
Yep.
So we have some other members here, Eddie.
Yes, I see them. I see at least one.
Yeah, right. Okay, so basically, getting back to the topic of all the sources and so forth, I might share something that happened to me this past weekend, when I was finishing up my presentation for my course that I'm doing. I went looking everywhere for something to cover a certain concept, and I really could not find what I was looking for. So I finally said, well, what the heck am I doing? Why am I running around spending all this time looking for somebody else's stuff when I could just create something for myself? So I took out my business card and my badge and took a picture of it and loaded it up. So, so maybe it will look a little bit amateurish, but hey, better to have something that fits what I wanted. So never neglect the possibility of creating your own. So yeah. So we've got quite a list here. Did anybody have any other? I was remembering that Jay shared at one time Pablo. Does anybody have any experience with Pablo? And it seemed to me that was the one where you can actually put a text over the photo.
Yeah, I think Pablo is a design software, kind of like Canva, rather than a image source.
Yeah.
I just want to mention too, on Canva, on the Canva site, they have a blog, and one of their blog posts somewhere in there, I don't remember how far back it was, they have a list of, I think, 70-some free image sites.
Wow.
So that's a good one to go check out.
Okay. That I wouldn't have thought of that. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised that they had that, but they do, and it's very well documented.
Perfect. Yeah. So now, Vivek, you talked about finding images when you're working within Google Drive. We were supposed to get to that last week.
Yeah. Actually, Google Slides, which is Google's version of presentation software for you. So yeah, let me do a quick screen share and show you what I mean. Okay, I have opened a Google slide here, a new untitled presentation. Let's say I want an image here instead of a title. So what I would do is click on this image, this button here which says image, and this dialog pops up. Here you can upload an image, you can take a snapshot if you want, you can paste a URL, all that, but the one I'm actually interested in at this point is this search facility here. When I click on that, I don't know whether you can actually read this. This line here says results shown are labeled for commercial reuse with modification.
Oh.
So any search that I do here should bring up those images. That's what Google is saying. So, and you could possibly click on any of these stock images, live, and so on, and then bring up images from there. So that's one easy source, and I don't know. Can anyone think of an image to insert here at this point?
How about ice cream?
Okay.
By the way, that filtering commercial and for modification, that's what we looked at last time. Remember when Roland had the screen open and I talked him through the way I filter.
But really neat though that they provide that filter automatically.
Automatically, yeah.
Yeah.
And here the other aspect is you can actually have a few things. Face, I think it shows people eating with the face, ice cream. or if it is a photo, it will show you that. If it is a clip art you are after, it shows you images like that.
Wow.
Line drawing.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I didn't know you could do that in slides.
I didn't know either.
And more than that, the other aspect is these are the things that this one is of any color. Whereas if you have a color scheme in mind and you want colors, okay, let's say my background here is orange. I click on this orange thing. So these are the images which should go well with the orange background that I have. Any of these images.
Wow.
So that I get by clicking on these little which they don't really look like buttons, but they are actually buttons. So if I click on this, it shows images with the yellow as the prominent color.
It's essentially color palette filtering.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Pixabay has on their site, but this is nice. It's coming against other sites too.
Yeah.
That is a major upgrade for me, Vivek. That's what I've been working on. Doing a slide, and I was going all sorts of other places, and I might have solved my problem right there.
Yeah.
And how do you get it out of slides then, when you have chosen it? Just drag and drop, or how do you get it?
Yeah, that's what I did. I clicked on one of the images and I inserted that image gets inserted. Now if I present this, this is what would show up.
But if you want it for something else, you need to have it on your desktop or something to upload it to a blog or something.
Yeah, that would be slightly different. But you could also, okay.
Try right-clicking.
No, you can actually make it bigger. And the other thing is you can, okay, this is a bit too big.
Can you just drag it over to your desktop and that's the way of saving it?
No.
No?
The other way is actually you can actually put some text here and
No, but Vivek, they're asking about saving the picture to desktop.
I'm going to show you that.
Okay.
Put your text there and I can save this entire thing, download this as PNG image. So this slide gets saved as an image.
But can't you right-click on the picture and save that as an image?
No, but
So you can do that.
what I'm showing you is actually you can add text and you want to do whatever else you want to the slide, and then if you save the slide itself as an image, you have everything that you need. Possibly you have the image, you have the text. You can straight away put it onto your website, for example.
But if somebody just wants the picture and not the slide background and the text, I think what you'd have to do then is, instead of, see, the way Vivek is showing it, that search function is within the slides program.
Yeah.
So it's for the purpose of adding it to a slide. If you wanted to just get the image, you wouldn't do it inside of slides. You'd go to google.com and do an image search like we showed last time and set the filtering and then search for it in there.
Yeah, but
can I ask?
My point is, why do you need an image? You need an image to use it somewhere. So
yeah, but they might not be using it in slides. You might want to use it in some other program.
It as an image somewhere. So you have the image, you have you apply something to it, a text or something, and then you can use the slide itself as an image, and then you can use that. So that's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if for instance, when we do in Hangouts and we got the pictures, they were saved in Google in our photo account. I wonder if we do that with pictures, if they are also saved in Google Photos or so. If somebody has.
Oh, that's a good question.
You have to type.
We'll have to try that out. Yeah.
If worst comes to worst, you can always just you know, cut the page out. You can use monosnap, or on Windows machines you have snipping tool that you can use to just grab the image.
I'll just mention too, for anybody that's using PowerPoint as opposed to Google Slides, PowerPoint has a way to search with a Creative Commons filter as well. I don't think it has all the same bells and whistles that Vivek just showed, because I don't believe it lets you filter by color. But it does bring up only images that have a Creative Commons license by default. So that's nice. So you can look for your images right inside of PowerPoint and add it right to the slide.
You can do the same thing if you just go to Google Images and do a search that way. I was just doing a search, and some of the same options that Vivek was showing also appear in that option as well.
Yeah, and you need to filter by, what was it, for commercial use, and allows modification, right, on the advanced search.
Okay, so we've covered. Here it is, 10 o'clock already. We've talked about sources, and we never got to modifying. So maybe that'll have to be our topic for next week. Are you on to share the pieces that you prepared, Craig, next week?
Yeah, but I can. One quick little thing is. And I can put it in right here. There's a tutorial inside Wealthy Affiliate, and that's the link to it, and it's called Modifying Headers with Canva. So that's a tutorial that I put together inside Wealthy Affiliate that people can view and get a feel for how Canva works. And
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll be watching that immediately.
Okay, and you can certainly. Well, here, let me put it in the
Put it in the on the event page, please. Because there may be some people out there watching. So. We've covered a lot of ground this morning in terms of where to find and what to find, etc. I don't know about you folks, but I have started saving. I have a folder that I use in Chrome that is a favorite. And I just keep putting all of the different sites that I found into that folder that has to do with images. So it's beginning to fill up. So I appreciate all the suggestions. A couple that were mentioned this morning I knew about, but certainly there are several that I didn't know about. So I really appreciate that. So we are 10:03. And I'm thinking that perhaps it would be a good idea for us to close for the moment and reconvene next week. And I'm looking for my slide share here. So before we close, does anybody have any parting shots that they would like to add before we stop the broadcast? 1, 2, 3. I guess not.
No, I'm good.
Did you say you had something? No?
I'm good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Your text or your words faded out, Craig, so I didn't hear what you said. I think we're done. So it's time to wrap up today's conversation with a reminder that I have some supports for solopreneurs on Google+. There's the Being Your Own CEO community. And I welcome members to post things that they find of interest, things that they're publishing themselves. It's a place for us to interact with each other in a meaningful way. I also provide a collection called Supports for Solopreneurs, and that's mostly, I post a few of my things in there, but mostly things that I've curated that I think are of interest to solopreneurs. And then, of course, you don't want to miss visiting my website, lowland.com, where you'll find the portable business coach, a little tool that would help you determine where you need to place your focus. I also want to remind viewers to please take the time to get to know the people in the green room here, because they all offer some very valuable services. And get to know them and find out more about them and let them get to know you. So please do that. So this is Lowland signing off for this week. Hopefully we'll see you all next week.